All right, guys. Well, I'm glad to know that most of you wouldn't say no to your mom, but there is a debate on what you guys think about Suds being or not being a rat. So let's jump into it and find out. Screen's going black. Okay, here we go. Chapter 9. You want a rat? It was lunchtime. I took my tray I took my tray through the food line. As usual, I waited for Joey. As I was waiting, I saw a sight that made my eyes pop. Judy Billings was sitting a couple tables away by herself. Usually, she was surrounded by girlfriends. Judy Billings? Alone? I couldn't believe it. And I couldn't pass up the chance. Walking over to her table was as scary as walking on the roof. But I did it. I sat down next to her. Hi, I said. Mind if I sit here? She kept looking at her grilled cheese sandwich. Yes, she said. I giggled. I grinned. I was thrilled. Yes! It was the first word she had ever spoke to me. I'd remember it forever. Yes, yes, yes. I said, I mind, she said. Oh, I said. What should I do? I was too deep to go back now. Okay, I said. I got up and sat down on the other side of her. This better? No. She kept speaking to the grilled cheese sandwich. Did she think I was the sandwich? I felt my chair move. I looked up into the face of Gerald Willis. He was pulling my chair backwards. When it was away from the table, he tipped it forward. I slid off to the floor. It was the bench at the talent show all over again, only worse. I got up. I slunk away. Kids were laughing. One of them was a third-grade angel eating a piece of chocolate cake. I didn't take the cake from the angel's hand. I just shoved his hand, cake and all, into his face. Then I smashed them around. The whole joint was howling. As I walked out of school that day, Judy Billings happened to be right behind me. This time, I didn't hold the door open for her. I let it shut in her face. I went straight home and up to my room. With one swipe of my hand, I sent my whole Matchbox car collection flying off the top of my bookshelf. I probably could have destroyed my room right then if I hadn't headed for the bathtub. No tugboat and dinosaur this time, just me in the water. I didn't turn it off till it was up past my belly button. I sank into it as deep as I could. I wanted to pull it over me like a blanket. I wanted to forget the day. I wanted to forget 4th grade. By the time I got out, I thought I was feeling better. I was wrong. As soon as I got back to my room, I punched Winky, my bear. At dinner, Zippernose smirked and sneered and snickered until my mother finally said, "What is it?" "I can't tell," giggled Zippernose. "I'll get in trouble." "If you don't stop that carrying on, you'll be in trouble." "Okay, I'll tell." My mother looked at me. I wasn't sure I even want to know now. "I'll let Suds tell me later if he wants to." "No!" shrieked Zippernose. "I want to tell." And before anyone could stop her, she told about Gerald Willis and the chair, about the 3rd grader and the cake in the face, about the whole place laughing. Bubba was going into spasms over the cake scene. My parents just stared at me. My mother looked hurt. "That doesn't sound like you, Suds," she said. "They were laughing," I reminded her. "Are you going to attack everybody who laughs at you the rest of your life?" "Yeah," I said. "Maybe I will." I got up from the table and stomped off. "Take a bath," my mom called. "I did." "Take another." I took another. Didn't do any more good than the first. I decided to go to bed early, get myself unconscious as quick as possible. I put on my PJs, turned out the light, and got under the covers. I felt something on my foot. What could be under there? It felt like wood. It felt like snap. Yow! Suddenly, I was on the floor, and the mouse trap was on my big toe. I pried it off. I went to the door, yanked it open. I heaved the trap down the hallway. I screamed, "Okay, you want a rat? You got a rat!" Chapter 10. No. For the next 2 days, I went on a rampage. If I saw a little kid with a Twinkie I wanted, I snatched it from him. If I saw a little kid on a swing, I pushed him off, whether I wanted to use it or not. I laughed in class during silent reading. The teacher told me to stop. I kept laughing. She gave me detention after school. My first ever detention. I laughed all through it. Instead of putting candy wrappers in my pocket, I threw them in the street. I walked across people's front lawns. I rang doorbells and ran. My mother put a new box of Klondike bars in the freezer. I ate them all. I stuck chewing gum on my bedpost. I left my dirty clothes on the floor. The next time Bubba bared his fangs and went what, 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 I said, "That's my name. Badness is my game." And I tied him to the bathroom doorknob. I snuck up on Zipper Nose. She was in her room, lying on her stomach on the floor, reading, wearing socks. I pounced. I plucked myself smack on the back of her legs. In a second, I had her socks off. Most times when I tickled her, I would stop when she started screaming. This time, I didn't stop. She laughed and screamed and bawled herself blue. I didn't stop until my father pulled me off. He shook me by the shoulders. "What's getting into you lately?" "Nothing," I said. "Just getting her back." What was getting into me? Even I didn't know. Didn't care either. All I knew, whatever it was, it felt good. It felt great. Why had I waited until so late in life to have my first rampage? Joey was right. Angels finish last. No more last for me. This dude's heading for a gold medal. I ran upstairs. I pointed at Winky. "You are holding me back," I told him. "You're out of here." I opened my window and punted him into the backyard. There was only one thing left to do. My chance came next morning. As I was getting ready for school, my mother poked her head into my doorway. "Pick up this floor before you go," she said. "It's a war zone." She was already gone from the doorway when I said my answer. "I don't have time." She appeared again. "Pardon?" "I don't have time," I repeated. "It'll only take a minute. Make time." "After school," I said. "Now," she said. "No," I said. Before she recovered from the shock, I was past her and down the steps. "I'll see you when you come straight home after school," she called as I breezed out the door. The next voice I heard was a whole lot different. I was half a block down up the street when I heard it behind me. "Hi, Suds." I turned. Not that I had to turn to see who it was. I could have picked Judy Billings' voice out of a million. She was smiling. She was looking at me. I wasn't a grilled cheese sandwich after all. We walked to school together. Judy did most of the talking. She kept telling me how famous I was. Everyone was talking about me. But I was only half hearing. I was in a daze. I just kept looking at her beautiful face and thinking, man, wow, I'm walking to school with Judy Billings. I don't believe it. "Well," I heard her say, "could you?" I snapped out of my daze. "Huh? Could I what? Let a bee sting you on the arm like Joey Peterson did?" "Sure," I said, "no sweat." For Judy Billings, I would let an alligator sit on my arm. But we couldn't find any bees, so she said, "How about a spider?" "Why not?" I said, playing cool, trying to not sound nervous. We searched the gutter and sidewalk and the walls of people's houses. I spotted a couple spiders, but I didn't say anything. Then Judy called, "Here, look!" It was on someone's brick wall. It wasn't a little white house spider. It wasn't little, and it wasn't white. It was poking along towards the window. "Put it in your hand here, in front of it," Judy said. "Let it crawl right on." She was excited. Her eyes were wide. Her voice was squeaky. "Could be a black widow," I said. "So?" she said. "It won't bite unless you're mean to it." She was staring at me, waiting. The last 10 minutes had been the best 10 minutes of my life. Was I going to give it up because I was too chicken to touch a stupid insect? I put my hand on the wall flat. The spider went around it. I did it again. The spider climbed aboard. Judy shrieked, "Yow!" She pulled on my other arm. "Come on!" "Where?" I said. "School! They have to see." By the time we got to the schoolyard, the spider was up my elbow, a tiny-footed nightmare on my skin. Judy called, "Look, everybody, look!" Kids came running. They jerked to stop when they saw. They gasped. They gawked. "It's a black widow," she announced to them. "He's doing it for me." The spider was up to my shoulder now, heading for my back. I couldn't see it anymore. I kept my face cool, but I was praying. "Please, don't go on my neck. Especially don't go down my shirt." The bell rang. Everybody ran for the door. Nobody was looking. I swatted and twisted until I was sure the spider was gone. At morning recess, I was mobbed. "Wow, Suds! A black widow! Black widow man!" "Weren't you scared?" "Ooh, Suds!" Judy was mobbed too, mostly by girls. "He did it for you?" I guess we were both famous. Chapter 11. What's wrong with Joey? Heading for the lunchroom, I grabbed Joey in a headlock. "Hey, brother rat, where you been? Where were you yesterday?" He pulled out of the headlock. "Home. Sick?" I slapped him on the back. "Yo, rats don't get sick." I nudged him. "Know who I walked to school with today?" "Should I care?" I pushed him. "Come on, man, you know. Hey, did you see me with the spider? Huh?" He shook his head. "No? Man, you're missing it all." I shook him. "You'd be proud of me. He didn't look too lively. "Hey, Brother Rat, you still sick?" We sat at our old spot in the lunchroom. I plunked my paper bag in front of him. "Notice anything?" He gave a teeny grin. "No more elephants, and look!" I opened up my sandwich. I held it under his nose. "Look familiar?" He turned away. "Balony, baby." "E-Y," he said. "Whatever, it's meat, right? M-E-A-T. I feel like I'm about 16 already. I can feel myself growing." He gave a little snicker snort. "I ain't kidding, man. Just sitting here now. Can't you tell? You were right, dude. Don't take nothing. Number 1. I'm doing it, dude rat." I slapped the table. I ripped off half of my sandwich in one bite. "I'm doing it." Then I noticed. I grabbed his arm. "Hey, where are they?" "Where's what?" "Your tattoos." He stared at his arms. "Oh, I leaned across the table. I sniffed. "You don't stink. You said you weren't going to take a bath for a month." "I didn't." "So where'd the tattoos go?" I sweated. They came off." "So how come you don't smell?" Deodorant." "So where's your headband?" "I forgot it." I finished my sandwich. I started on my cupcakes. Joey wasn't eating. I pulled his sandwich from his bag. "What kind of meat you got today?" He snatched the sandwich back. "I don't know." "Bologna? Roast beef?" "I don't know." "Bear? Moose?" He just glared at me. "Okay, rat," I said. I stuffed a cupcake into my mouth. When I finally cleared some room for my tongue, I said, "You gotta come over and see my room. It's almost as bad as yours is. Oh, man." I slapped the table. "I almost forgot to tell you. I did it. I did it." He gave me a blank look. "The big one, rat. I said no to my mom this morning. You should have been there. I was going out to school, okay? My mom says, 'Pick up your floor. It's a war zone.' War zone, man. See? I told you it was bad. So, know what I said? I said, 'I ain't got time.' So she says, 'Make time.' And I go, 'No. N-O, baby.' And I'm out the door. I did it." I held out my hand for him to slap. He didn't slap. "Know what else?" she said. "Come right home after school. I'm telling you, I ain't." I scarfed down another cupcake. "I'm telling you, I think I gotta get my mom trained like yours." He wasn't talking. He wasn't eating. Nothing. I snatched his sandwich. I shot my chair back so he couldn't reach me. I tore the wrapper off. I opened it. I couldn't believe my eyes. I gawked at him. "Peanut butter and jelly? Where's the meat?" He just stared at me for a minute. Then he got up and walked away, left his lunch there, me holding his sandwich. Just walked away. And that's it, guys. Go to Flipgrid and answer the questions. Bye.